Hey guys, my name is Corey. I'm with Blue Alpine Freeze Dryers. I just wanted to do a quick video today on how to rehydrate food once it's been freeze dried. So there's a few main ways that I like to do it. The main way is just with water. You just soak whatever food that you've done, you just soak it in water and it rehydrates pretty well. If you use hot water, that's going to happen a lot faster. But some things you don't want to use hot water with, like if you're going to be, doing apple pie filling or something like that, you could do hot water, or you could do cold water overnight. Either way is going to work just fine. Let's go ahead and do some examples and just kind of show you kind of what that looks like. I've got some freeze-dried chicken that we've done a little while ago, and then I've also got some apples that we've done just recently. So if we rehydrate this apple, throw a couple pieces in here, the food is not going to turn out exactly like a fresh apple would. You've got to remember that this apple has been frozen, so it's going to retain the consistency of a frozen apple. It's not going to be super fresh because it's gone through the freezer once. Chicken, on the other hand, chicken and meat are pretty similar. You think about, frozen chicken from the store, it comes out pretty similar to what it went in as. So we'll do some chicken real quick. We'll rehydrate this, and with warm water, chicken and meat is going to do a lot better. So if we're doing things like ground beef, ground beef is always going to be better with hot water. Or another method that I like to use is steam. So if I'm able to steam it over rice, that's a great way of rehydrating the food. So that way the water gets all the way into the food. The problem with ground beef a lot of times is that the water doesn't have a good chance to get into like the very center of it, and you get like a hard little nodule in the middle of the ground beef. So steam is another great option besides just regular water. Steam works really well. So let's go and rehydrate some chicken. It rehydrates almost immediately, and I'll show you guys what these look like. Let me throw some pieces out here. I'll show you guys what these look like when they're not rehydrated. So this is what a freeze-dried apple looks like. We'll try to get that to focus. This freeze-dried apple, it snaps really easy. It's got a nice texture to it, and it tastes pretty good. It tastes kind of like an apple chip. Even just having it just out here in the garage, it's actually starting to rehydrate just a little bit. So that's kind of another reason why you don't want to leave freeze-dried food out, is that it can rehydrate very easily. It'll actually just pull water from the air. This is a piece of chicken that has been freeze-dried, and you'll notice how just crumbly it is. It dusts almost immediately, and it just does not hold up when you put any kind of pressure on it. So that's a good example of what freeze-dried chicken looks like. This is another reason why I don't like to freeze-dry raw chicken, is because this dust goes everywhere. And if it's raw going in, it's going to be raw coming out. I don't like having raw chicken dust all over my house, because I still have to worry about salmonella, even though it's freeze-dried. Now that we've got these rehydrated, these have been rehydrating for maybe 2 or 3 minutes now, we are going to go and come up close and show you. But this is pretty much just regular chicken and regular apples again. So you'll notice that this apple is just a regular apple again. It's almost the consistency of a apple pie. So if you think of an apple pie, how it's cooked apple, but it's still cooked in sometimes frozen apple, but it still feels like apple, especially like in a pie form. It's like, oh yeah, that's an apple. Anyways, that's a good example of what an apple looks like after it's been rehydrated. I mean, it's not like a delicacy just by itself like this, but if you added in an apple pie filling, or some kind of like baked good, it'd be really good. Or you could make applesauce out of this after it's been freeze dried. So that'd be probably really easy to do. Just powder it when it's dry and then add some water to it. You'd have freeze dried applesauce. This is a good example of what freeze-dried chicken looks like once it's been rehydrated. It looks and feels like chicken again. It tastes like chicken. It acts and behaves like chicken, where it's kind of pliable. I have cut this cross grain to kind of help the chicken rehydrate a little bit faster. So being in the water even just 3-4 minutes, this is completely rehydrated. If I wanted to get it a little bit better texture, I'd leave it in for about 10 to 15 minutes, but it tastes good, it looks good, and it's completely edible. Both chicken and apples are going to have a lifespan of about 30 years, and that's because chicken doesn't have a lot of fat in it, and apples are just natural, and anything natural that's out of your garden is going to last about 30 years because all the water has been taken out of it. Another really good method for rehydrating freeze-dried food is just in the slow cooker. I've heard a lot of our customers talk about this. It's a great option, and it's might take overnight, or it might take several hours to rehydrate it, but it's going to rehydrate it very well because you're allowing tons of time and tons of heat, to get that water all the way into the center of the food. So just as a review, the three things that we've covered is, just doing a water bath, either cold or hot water. You can use steam, like a rice cooker or some kind of pressure cooker, or you could use a slow cooker to get the water back into the food. But at the end of the day, if there's water that's going back into the food, it's going to rehydrate. And then it's just a matter of consistency. Whatever you think is, edible, whatever you think is palatable, that's going to be what you want to look for. Hopefully you found this informative. We try to give as much information as possible about freeze drying, just get as much information out there as possible. But if you have questions, feel free to give us a call or reach out to us. We'd be happy to answer your questions.